Hello, I am back today for a video that has kind of been long overdue. Let me scoot back a bit. Okay, so I debated not doing this video for a while because I was kind of like still in the process, still figuring it out, still seeing how I felt. So based off my title, this is kind of a review of my hairdressing experience that I've been going through with a hairdressing salon called it's in Horsforth in England, West Yorkshire, and this has been, my experience with them has been for months now. I've been back. I've had 3 appointments with them, and after about the first appointment, things started going downhill, and which is why I am here today to let anybody know, because this business is pretty well renowned. I went with them because they were the highest rated salon within my area for coloring, you know, haircuts. They even do nails, waxing, all that stuff, and they proclaim themselves as the best salon in Leeds. So I made an appointment, got in pretty quickly. The first appointment was great. I will insert a picture of what I went in asking for over here somewhere. And so when I went in, my hair was very long, blonde all the way through. I had been dyeing it at home by myself for almost 5 years, and I had finally got it to the point where it was healthy again after I accidentally fried it. So it was healthy and it was doing great. I was taking my vitamins, I was using a mask on it, you know, it was growing despite being dyed, which was a very big accomplishment for me, but it wasn't something I wanted to keep doing for the rest of my life. I did not want to have to keep bleaching my hair for the rest of my life, so I decided that I was going to, you know, take the plunge and get brown roots put in, so that this part could remain blonde and the roots of my hair would be brown, and then as it was growing out, I wouldn't have to go and have it bleached all the time, because my roots would just grow and blend into the brown color that they put in. So the first appointment went great. A lot less brown that's in it now. He put in, my stylist, I'm not going to disclose his name, but he was lovely. It was a young lad, and he was a qualified hairdresser at the salon, and everything went well. He did exactly what I asked for, and I paid £40. Now, £40 would be the equivalent of like $30 just for having brown put in my hair. That's it, all over. Now I had it down here and stuff as well, and as I was saying, it was a lot less brown hair, so I didn't have a cut or anything. It was really just a wash because the color was put on wet. It was like a demi dye or whatever they call it, and it was put on wet and then washed off, and it was lovely. I loved it a lot. It was barely any brown. It wasn't like a straight cut of brown. It was blended in to make it nice to look like this. And that was my first appointment. Now, that was a few months before Christmas, and then I went in a few months after Christmas, so I had quite a bit of hair growth. And this is where things kind of went to shit. I went in, I called them on the phone, and I said, you know, I wanted a root stretch, which is what I had the first time. But I have a lot more brown in my hair now, and I want to get rid of some of the brown, replace the blonde, but still have brown roots. So I went in, and it wasn't a problem. But considering that I spent £40 on my previous appointment, you know, I took just under 100 with me, and I told my stylist specifically that whatever you do today, it would need to be kept under, you know, under 100. Because, you know, as they were looking through my hair, they were feeling my hair, they were looking at the colors and stuff like that, they were telling me, well, we're going to have to bleach your whole head and then add the brown in afterwards. And, you know, I said, I was kind of naive to it. I didn't know, you know, what it would cost. I didn't know, you know, if that was a necessary thing to do. I didn't know if I had other options. So I kind of just agreed after a bit of talking, because they're like, oh, we can, you know, we can add more brown, or we can lighten it or whatever, but you'd have the equal, you know, they said they'd do a root stretch, but I'd have the equal amount of brown in it, which I didn't want, because it was, the brown was so grown out, it was to the point where I was putting my hair up in a ponytail and I was a brunette with a blonde bun. So I said, so I agreed, as long as it was within my price point and what I wanted. So as the appointment dragged on, I was there from like 9 in the morning to 3 in the afternoon, because my stylist was just like leaving me with products sitting on my hair, coloring, dye, whatever you want to call it, to go like do appointments with other people, and they were just passing me around to whoever was available. I felt like I had product on my hair for a long time. The bleach particularly, because they said they had to bleach it first, so give me all blonde hair again, only to add the brown in later. So I was sitting with this bleach on my hair forever, and only to have them wash it off more than an hour later to still have a band of ginger in my hair. So then she's like, oh, well, we're gonna have to put more bleach on it to bleach the band out of my hair, you know, so we can put the brown on it. And by that point, it was like 1 o'clock. I had to pick my son up from school at, you know, 3. And I said, you know, we're getting short on time. You haven't even added the brown yet. And at this point, she definitely did not say, oh yeah, we can fix our mistake, but it's gonna cost you more money. You know, why didn't she use a stronger lightener or a higher lift? I don't understand. I mean, now that I'm going back and think, oh, by the way, yes, I was passed on to the next person who was available, which I guess is a manager or something. And she said she didn't know, apparently, that I told my stylist that I had to keep it under 100. So, you know, she was offering this and offering this when I don't see why it just wouldn't have worked the first time. So she's like, oh, we have to put more bleach on your hair to lift the brown band, or the ginger band that was left on. And that was another hour or something I had to sit with bleach on my hair. And she did not say that I would have to pay for a second round of bleach, because the first round they put on did not lift. They kind of like took advantage of my naivety as to, you know, what it would cost, what they would charge me for, you know, because, I don't see why I had to pay for something that didn't work the first time. You know, if they would have said, oh, we're going to put bleach on your hair and it's not going to lift the first time, so we're going to have to put bleach on your hair again and charge you for 2 bleach treatments, like, I didn't get it. And now that it's over and done with and I've left the salon, you know, I'm hearing different stories from other people. You know, why didn't they just, you know, put highlights in my hair to get rid of the brown, you know, going up? Because this part down is treated hair that I've had previously treated, you know, treated at home, whatever. And then this bit here is what they put in. And now look how white my hair is coming in. It's almost like okay, we'll get to that now. We'll get to that. Okay, so now it's like 2:30 and I only am just now washing the bleach off my hair, and you know, they're looking at it, and I'm like, I'm concerned at this point. I'm like, how much is this gonna cost? You know, I've been here forever. And I had to call my friend who also had a kid at the same school, and I'm like, can you please pick up my son, because I'm in the salon and I have been since 9 o'clock this morning and they still have not finished my hair. And she was concerned because she was a stylist herself. She had qualifications and worked in a salon in London for a couple years. And she's like, that's not right. You know, why are they charging you so much? By this time, after the bleach was out of my hair, they had to stop what they were doing to make sure that I could afford the treatment, after they told me that the second bleach didn't quite cover my hair. You know, I could see that there was still a band of ginger, there was still a band of discoloration, but it wasn't bad. And they're like, oh, the brown will hide it. So I wasn't too bothered about that, but then she's like, oh, it's gonna be like £120 to finish what you want, to put the brown back in your hair. So I'm like, I didn't ask for any of this. All I asked was the blonde moved up and then the brown just left alone, because I had my own outgrowth. My own outgrowth was brown. And she's like, well, I could charge you $85 just to dry it and leave it how it is. So at this point, I was blonde, like Khaleesi blonde, bright blonde. And there was a light ginger brand, like in spots all over my hair, like where the brown previously was. And I didn't have the money on me to finish it. And, you know, I was upset, my hair was wet and from the blonde, and my friend showed up and I explained to her, you know, away from them, you know, that they wanted more money from me than what was previously agreed on. By this time, my stylist, the male one that I have previously went to plenty of times, had like disappeared and was tending to other people and didn't come back until I started disputing, you know, why do I have to pay for your mistakes? And so my friend comes in, my friend comes in and tries to talk to them. They're like, she says, you know, she knew what she was doing, and they tried to tell her that she's been out of the scene too long and she doesn't know what goes on, and it's their salon and they can run it how they want to and charge me however much they want. And she was really angry and she was trying to defend my case, because at the time I was stuck with this Khaleesi blonde hair that I didn't ask for, and they told me pay £85 and then come back another day when you have the money and pay us another, what was it, $35 to put the brown back in to fix the mistake that they made. So I was pissed, you know, my friend was like trying to defend me, trying to talk to them, and they were getting really pissy, telling her she didn't know what she was talking about, that, you know, I had to pay the money, that there was no negotiating, just come back later and we'll fix it, but pay more money, you know, telling me that I've been there since 9 o'clock in the morning. I have so much hair, even though they weren't doing all of my hair, they were doing my roots. £85 to have my hair, my roots, like this amount of brown, it was like 2-3 inches of brown, bleached, which I could have just done at home, which is what I was previously doing, but I wanted to be safer. And I was sat in a salon from at least 10 to 2 with bleach on my hair, 10 to 2. And they just didn't seem the slight bit phased. They weren't apologetic. They're like, you've been here all this time, we have to be compensated. And at this time I was talking to the male stylist that I had been with previously, and the manager that I kind of just got stuck with. And then the owner of the salon comes over and he's like, well, you agreed to pay £80. Yeah, £80 for what I asked for. Blonde hair with dirty roots. And he was really pissy with me. He was on the phone and like talking shit to me, saying, you agreed to pay it, you need to pay it. And I just didn't know what to do. You know, I had 2 kids with me, her daughter and my son, and they were hungry, they wanted to go, they had to sit there while I had my hair dried. And I was really upset because I paid more than double for what I didn't want. So just to clarify, I went in before with freshly bleached hair that I did myself at home, and I asked them to put brown roots in it, which was a root stretch for £40. So then I go in a couple months later and they tell me they can't do a root stretch because I'll have too much brown. So they convinced me to have my whole hair bleached blonde, messed it up, had to bleach it again because it had ginger in it still, and then tried to put the brown in again for £120, £135. I don't get it. And so I went home with this stupid fucking blonde hair that I didn't want. It was like white blonde. And because at that point, you know, I had had enough. I paid the money. I was really angry. I decided that, you know, I would find a different salon. So I went back a few months later when I had the money and the time to spare, because in case it was a whole day endeavor again. And I went in, and this time they stuck me with the manager 100%. I didn't even see my original male stylist. And I was sat in a chair, and she was polite. She pretended like, you know, the other time didn't happen, which is good. You know, that's professionalism. But, you know, I was still pretty upset. You know, I kind of just wanted it fixed and to be over with, because I didn't want to have to go find a new salon to put the brown roots in to fix what they messed up, when I had already, you know, they knew what I wanted and stuff. And so this is what I was left with. This is what I left the salon with that very last time. She did it, and while I was sitting in the chair, the male beautician came in and wouldn't even look at me, wouldn't even speak to me. So obviously I hurt his feelings. But, you know, I don't know what they expect. I'm sure they have clients that, you know, can pay whatever they want to get whatever they want, but that's not me. You know, I'm a young mom. I put this money aside to get my hair done, and they charged me almost triple for something that they messed up. So, this is what I was left with, as I said. I'm really not happy with it. I mean, as you can see, I've got like 4 different colors going on. Down at the ends is like white blonde, and then you get up here and it's like ginger orange, and then here is super, super dark brown, and then my natural hair coming in is like a mousy brown. So what I asked them to do was to match the color of the brown that they were putting on, you know, blending in evenly, to match the hair that was coming out of my head. And as you can see, that definitely does not match. And this is the hair that I'm stuck with until I can figure out a way to either fix it myself, pay for it, or find another salon enough that I trust. So if you go around my hair, you can see that it's miscolored almost pretty much everywhere. And my friend tried to point that out to them, and they weren't listening. They said there's nothing wrong with it. You know, I'm sure they think that they do a great job, but does this look like a great job to you? I don't. It literally looks like I'm an old woman who tried to hide my gray hair. Look at the stuff look at my hair coming in, and it's a huge band, and they said that that was okay, that it was supposed to look like that. I mean, I don't understand. I'll turn this back down. So, you know, I feel obligated to share my story, because I felt like I was definitely almost taken advantage of. My naivety was taken advantage of. I mean, if you were somebody, like, I feel bad for like a little old lady who goes in there, like, what? No, I've only heard a few people's opinions on what they thought, and from what I've gathered so far, I should not have paid for the second bleach that they put on, because the bleach that they should have used their hairdressing professionalism to put the correct products on my hair the first time. Now I can achieve like 6 levels of lift on my brown hair with a box dye at home, and I have done for 5 years, and I'm able to grow this super long hair that's healthy and fine. So I don't see why I would go to a salon where they're trained with a level of professionalism only to put products on my hair for hours that don't do what I can do at home for under $10, 10 pounds. So, yeah, and the fact that they didn't really care, it was more of like a, you attitude. They just got snottier and snottier the longer that I was there, and the fact that the owner kind of stepped in and said, well, give me your money because you agreed to it. I don't even think he heard my story because he was busy on the phone. So there was definitely no sympathy, and I will not be going back, and I will be doing what I can to spread awareness about the experience that I had, because it felt very wrong. Yeah, if you go, heads up, because they're very well rated. That was what made me find them. So I will be sure to post my own review and rating to let people know how it went for me and what I've been left with. It looks okay from a distance, I'm not gonna lie, but like when I put it up in a ponytail too, really obvious. All these little hairs that are growing in that are mousy brown. And then I have this really dark brown hair that's not even my color, and this is definitely not what I asked for. I said, please blend the two colors. And this is like a red brown, and what's coming out of my hair, out of my head is like a really cool blue brown. Like, I don't get it. Tell me your thoughts. Tell me what you think. Are you a stylist? Are you a hair enthusiast? Do you think they messed up? Do you agree with them? Should I have paid more? Should I have paid less? I mean, I would have paid more for what I wanted, you know? Bear in mind that prices were agreed on prior. I had already been pre-approved for the price that I paid, and they ended up asking for triple in the end. What do you think? Bye.